happening in the United States. Leo, you were here last year as well.
I was, yes.
What's changed in the last year?
The biggest change is that the biggest promoters now want our artists, like they said, on their big shows and big festivals, and they want them to play with Fedde Le Grand and Dash Berlin and BT and Avicii, and that's the biggest change that we've seen. Is from the last few years we've done small, more underground shows and more all hardstyle, hard dance oriented shows, and now it's becoming more mixed and more diverse and integrated.
That's quite a big change, though.
It's a very big change. We're very happy about it. The only problem is that the artists that come over don't have visas. So legally, we have a bit of a problem. So
really?
Yeah, we used to bring them over a bit for a holiday.
Right.
And now because of the commerciality of the scene and it's growing and the bigger promoters want it now, we have to apply for visas for the artists. And the artists are also busy in their home country here. So it's a bit hard to bring them, except if we block out dates for tours and stuff like that.
But I'm sure you can get visas.
Well, it's actually quite difficult in the States.
Really, yeah?
Well, compared to Canada, Australia, the UK, you buy one, you have to apply for one in the States. So you have to send in a lot of documentation, show that you are an internationally renowned artist. So it does take a lot of paperwork, and if you get approved, good. If you don't, not so good.
And you've had that happen to you, that visas were not approved?
No. We've been very selective about who should apply for one and who should not. So we've been lucky so far, I would say.
And this change you were talking about, that the large promoters want your artists, is that something you feel you have contributed to yourself as well?
I would hope to think so. I mean, I've been doing this for quite a long time in the States, not only hardstyle, but in the past with hardcore music as well. So it's actually quite nice to see it coming back up, because in the past it was on large shows, and it went quiet for a while, and then now it's coming back up and making a resurgence. So it's quite positive to see that the larger promoters all want the artists.
Is this something you saw coming? Were you surprised by the way it has been happening?
I wouldn't say surprised. I would say a bit, not shocked, but there's another word for it. Just kind of like, oh, okay, taken aback. Like, oh, this is good. It's really great, and I really enjoy how diverse the States are. Like they said, for me, I've been coming to Holland for the last 13 years, and the mentality here is very different than an American mentality. Here, it's okay to be in a box. It's okay that you have 8 hours of hardstyle. In the States, it doesn't work so much. Just like they said, the people who grow up in the States like choices and diversity. And I'm American, and I like choices. I don't like to be told you can only listen to this. So I really, it's about being pretty excited to see what's coming.
So do you think that is a downside of the flourishing scene here in Holland, that we can afford to put on only hard dance events?
I wouldn't say it's a downside. I'd say it's a different mentality, a different culture. It's just a different way of thinking, and every culture has its own uniqueness. And the American culture likes to take something and wrap it around, change it, and just mix it in with everything else.
So you're not afraid that it will become in the United States like it is over here with?
I don't think it will, just because like they said earlier, there's not any really big American hard dance artists that are really pushing the scene forward. There are some here and there. They're big in their city, but they're not known throughout the whole United States. And I just see that people like diversity, and they love cross genres. Genres right now, no matter what music you're playing, are crossing over. It doesn't matter if you play dubstep to house to hardstyle. There's people who are they just play music, and they're artists. They're not a specific artist anymore. In my agency, I've taken down all the genres because it doesn't make sense anymore. You have dubstep artists who put 4 on the floor, breaks. And to them, that's a break. To us, that's their normal beat. So you have so much crossover and diversity. I think it's very positive.
And that's not just in hard dance music or dance music. Even if you look at artists like Britney Spears or Snoop Doggy Dogg, or everybody
they're all doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's contributing as well, that people are a little bit more accepting and they're more open-minded in the States. Not saying that the Dutch aren't open-minded, because they're very open-minded about a lot of things. But, it's just, for musical tastes, I think the United States is just a veritable cornucopia. They really will love music and run with it.
And you've been listening to the show take, guys.
Yeah.
They blend in perfectly.
Yeah. I agree with exactly what they're doing. It's better to be mixed on a main stage. At first, to build the scene, we had to plant the seeds and put the artists on these shows and all that. But now we really see that it's more, the potential for growth is mixed in with the big artists, the big commercial artists. And the more and more artists that pop up on the DJ mag give us and our music more credibility. And Americans, for some reason, love that list. Yes. We did a 18-city Headhunters tour, and some promoters just booked it. They're like, who's he? Number 36? Great, I'll pay. Okay. They don't, it's not about the music for them, it's about the name and the artist and the marketability of that artist and the branding of that artist.
I can see how that can work for you, but it's also quite a superficial approach, isn't it?
Americans are pretty superficial. I mean, it's superficial can be in a negative way. They're very, America's based on trends, and it's very trendy. What's trendy now is not trendy in the next year. You know, right now it's all of a sudden house music and the I guess the dirty Dutch music is very popular in the States, and that wasn't the case last year. And it's just becoming more and more. And what's going to happen next year, I have no idea. 10 years ago, Clubheads and Vengaboys and Alice DJ were massive on the radio, and it died. So who really knows? You know, the States are superficial because they like it, and they like it now, and then they're done with it.
Does that mean you have to strike while the iron is hot, and maybe in a couple of years' time it won't be so hot no more?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a gypsy, so you know, I wish I was. But I see the growth that we're doing, and we see certain cities are picking up more than others, and we see the potential just because it's just a lot of other artists are being more open-minded as well.
I guess you have to think about how you can benefit from this situation, even when the trend dies down in a couple of years' time, if it does.
How can I benefit from it? I don't know. I don't think you can think that too far in the long term.
Well, these are guys who are looking 10 years ahead.
They can look 10 years, but things change rapidly. You know, you can. There's a lot of things that change, and you have to take it one step at a time and do baby steps, in my opinion. And they're talking about themselves as artists.
Yes.
So they are obviously going to evolve as an artist. I'm more concerned about the hard dance scene in general. So I see it growing by itself, and hopefully organically in the States it keeps growing. Them as artists are different than a whole genre of music.
And so these festivals, they were playing like Electric Daisy.
Yes.
Is that something where you recruit new fans for the scene?
I would hope so, but I think that there's so many people there, and people come, they don't come for the music, they come just to be at a party.
At the event?
At the event. I'm not sure how many of them actually walk away and say, yeah, I really want this artist and I want to follow them and I want to buy all their merchandise. I'm not sure, because Americans are very fly-by-night. It means they like something and then they're very, they have ADD. You know, they're very, oh, okay, I like this, and then they're on to the next thing. So, you know, I think that the festivals are a great way to expose people to the music, and the people that go, I like this sound, they're going to follow it. And it does bring in new people, definitely.
So it does work in that respect?
It does work, but it goes both ways. The smaller shows, we've noticed, the fans that keep coming, they keep coming, and it grows, and it grows, and it grows. So,
and it grows independently of these big events?
It grows independently of these big shows. So you need to do both, I think. I'm very happy that these big shows are finally starting to book this music. They've always talked about it, but now they're really, really showing attention, and they're really starting to knock on the door, so to speak.
Is there also a minority crying sellout in the United States? People
how can they say sellout when it hasn't even really broken the underground? So, I mean, I mean, there's those few people who still say, yeah, your music sucks, but there's always a critic. There's always a critic, and the critics, in fact, make us work harder. You know, the haters make you work harder because, yeah, you want to try and change their opinion, and you just keep doing what you do.
You put on your own events?
No.
You don't?
No, I'm not an event promoter. In the beginning, we started.
You book tours.
In a sense, it's a bit. I have two companies. I have the agency that books and does the contracts, payments, and so on and so forth, and then Hard Dance Nation, which is headed by me, and we have other workers, and they set up the tours, and they do the marketing, and they do we're starting to do more merchandise, and then they also do the social network, pushing out the media and pushing out the shows and letting the people know what's going on.
So you work both with these big events where also Chesto might be playing, or Skrillex?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you work with the specific hard dance.
We do
events.
smaller promoters. We have small promoters to medium promoters to large to the festival promoters.
So you have a whole range of clients.
It's a whole range of clients. So we have to cater to a bunch of different needs.
And have you had more work in the last year?
Yeah. Well, we did 18-city Headhunters tour. That's a lot of work, and it was really, really cool to see that many people come out and that many cities, and how diverse the United States is. We could really see, you know, we went all the way to Hawaii, to Mexico City. We did, which is an amazing. Mexico City was the most amazing city for this music I've been to, except for Holland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was...
And that's just the fans?
The fans, the production, I was quite shocked. I expected, I don't want to be racist, but in America, Mexico, we think not the best quality, we think Chinese, you know? So I was going there expecting not the best quality of a show. But when I got there, everything was taken care of better than most of the American promoters that we've worked with. And the show quality was amazing. The fireworks they've done, they went really out of their way to present Headhunters in the right way. I was really surprised.
You think Headhunters has made a lot of new fans this year?
I think he has, yeah. I think in Mexico, there was a huge crowd for a Sunday night. We were shocked. And he goes like, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's not that many people." I'm like, okay. It was really, really nice to see.
So Headhunters is doing well in the US. Showtech is doing well. What other European artists are really
well, we are limited to the fact of visas. So Isaac also has a visa, so he's done about 3 or 4 tours. So he's also done very well in the States. It's just a matter of fact of with the large promoters who want to book with us, it's timing. They really don't plan out so well with us, and they want us to just drop other bookings for them and do exclusivity. And we're already planning into 2012, so we're already planning tours for other artists. We're announcing tours, and we're ahead of them because we've been ahead since we've been doing this without them. So we just have to get our schedules right, and then it should be pretty well to get these more of the European artists on their shows.
So who do you look to working for in the next year?
In what respect? Artists or promoters?
Artists.
Well, I pretty much work with a lot of artists already, as it is. Yeah. Right now, it all depends, and really the weirdest thing is it all depends on what happens in the DJ mag. It's
tonight.
Tonight. So
it's a big night.
that says for us, okay, we need to start planning visas for these artists. Because the only way these artists are going to grow in the States is if they get a visa. So it's a bit dangerous to bring someone over, and if they get stopped at the border, they can be banned for 5 years.
So if there's a new entry tonight of a hard dance DJ,
I've heard some rumors.
You've heard some rumors?
I've heard some rumors.
You'll be on the phone tomorrow.
We'll be on the phone tomorrow. Another thing that's expanding a little bit is hardcore, believe it or not. We did a tour for Endymion, and that did pretty well. There was LA was a really, really good show for them.
Is that a very different situation for hardcore?
Yes, very different. But we do have a few promoters who are interested in expanding their horizons, and we do have a show for Neophyte coming up. They will be playing After Noise controllers. So, and that's on a main stage with other big trance and house artists. So it's really interesting to see how that's going to go over.
You think a guy like Neophyte could play on Electric Daisy?
I would think so. Why not? He's been around. He's an amazing producer. He's very talented, and I think that the promoters from Insomniac have actually inquired about that. So they're really interested in getting some hardcore on some other shows, and I don't know how they're going to do it because hardcore is a bit extreme for Americans. But in the past, hardcore was very popular in America. This is back in the in the 90s and late 90s. So I would never say never, but it's possible. But we have to take baby steps.
Well, you see how fast it can go in the last year.
It's gone very fast in the last. But dance music in general has boomed in America. So I don't want to specifically just say one genre or not.
No, that's true. But nevertheless, hard dance music is benefiting.
It is benefiting, which is great because I think all music should benefit. There's no difference to, just like they play a variety of music. What difference does it make? I believe that music should cross boundaries, and it's great that it is.
And can it go even further? When you see guys like David Guetta and Afrojack working with huge mainstream pop artists, do you think someone like Showtech could be there in a few years' time as well?
It all depends. It all depends on them, and it depends on the biggest thing I see a little bit of an issue with is the tempo of the music. It's a bit fast. That's the main problem. And dubstep is accepted because it's 140 but halftime. So it's a little, that's the biggest hardstyle. When it first came out in the early 2000, late 90s, it was more popular because it was more hard trancey and it was slower. 138, it mixed well with Warp Brothers. You could do it. It was a lot more easier going at that time. And then hardstyle got faster, and then we saw it disappear because the trance artists who were playing some of it stopped playing it. So I think that's the biggest roadblock, and just the speed of the music is a bit tough for people to grasp, right. I think.
On a pop level.
On a pop level, yeah. I think they're playing 128 is on the radio, and that's like pushing it. Yeah, it's really you got to be. It's a bit fast.
And if it's slow, if the hardstyle slows down too much,
I know it's slowing down a little bit. There's some tracks out there that are 148, 147, 146. So that way some artists can do a mashup. Because dubstep is not 150. So I mean, I think there are some tempo changes coming, and I think that the more commercial the scene gets, the more that they notice that they want to meld other music together. They can't do it so fast, and they might do different mixes for different countries. Right. They don't play the same in Holland as they would play in the States, and I wouldn't suggest it. I would keep playing the way they do in the States, because that's what the States that they want. Right. They like the diversity.
Where do you see this going in the next year or two?
Well, I see, like I said, some of the larger promoters in different states and cities want our artists, and I believe that we need to keep that going. Some of them want to pull the artist away and put them on a hard dance stage. I don't think that's ready. I don't think that's the smartest idea, but I'm only one person. I have my own opinion. I think that the way it's growing now is the way it should be growing. I think that it shouldn't be stuck in a box. And if it does, it'll die pretty fast, because they'll just commercialize the shit out of it, and then it'll just kind of like die. If you mix it up on a stage and it's diversity, the kids really, if you go there, you'll see you play some electro, and you have some house and some trance, and then you put a dubstep, and then the hardstyle comes on, it just drops, and the kids just go insane. And it's a good, for about an hour or two, it's a good bout of energy for the kids, right. But they get tired of it very easily. So it's a bit difficult to have a longer duration of hardstyle music on the main stage, because the kids do get bored. And it's nothing to do with the DJs, it has to do with the kids. They can't take so much yet. So who knows, maybe in a year they can take more. Hopefully we can put 1 or 2 or 3 artists on a stage, or if there's a multi-night stage, we can put them on different nights, right, and mix it up.
But demand is growing. Demand
is definitely growing. We have seen a lot more demand, and more. They want us to do more with them. They want to book more of the artists. Now it's a problem of the artists are busy somewhere else. So demand has to, supply and demand.
Right. And this visa issue, is it a nuisance, or is it really becoming a problem?
I just think it's a nuisance. It's just about getting everything in order and getting it done. And now that the demand has spiked, I think it'll just come naturally. So,
okay. Does anyone have a question for Leo?
Are the new artists, like you told, like hardcore neophytes, are they being forced to go diverse as well? Because
it would be in their best interest if they come and they just do they're gonna. Honestly, there's some fans who will stay there, but I've seen sometimes the fans leave if it's too aggressive. It's just, that's what I've seen. Now, I can't speak for other artists or how they feel, but I have seen it happen. You put an artist on, and then sometimes it's just too aggressive for America. So it would be in the best interest of the artist to learn that they're playing in a different country with a different culture. And most of them do understand that. I debrief them. I kind of tell them, listen, here's the deal. Kind of go a little bit easy, and even someone like Neophyte, he's been around a long time. He knows what to do. He's still a DJ, and he understands how to read a crowd.
And are there also artists that want to stick to their genre and don't want to change?
Well, what I've seen is from the Dutch artists that have come over, they actually are excited that they can play outside of the box. Yeah. They're a little bit, and they're very happy. They come over, they're like, oh, I go, play whatever you want. Hey, play something from 10 years ago. They'll love it. They don't care. Oh, okay, and they play it, and the kids, oh, they like it. These kids haven't heard a lot of it. So to them, a track that's 5 years old is really new to them anyway. So you don't have, in Holland, you have to play new. You have to play what's fresh. In America, you can mess around a little bit. You can play something that's a little bit old. You can play something that might be new. You can play a mashup. You can play a bootleg. You can play whatever you like. And I think that's what a lot of artists that come over have told me. They go, this is great.
And isn't it difficult for the artist to go to America, play a bit more diverse, and they love it and they like it, and then go back to the Netherlands?
You should ask Showtech. I mean, but that's what's being an artist. You have to play with the crowd, I think. You shouldn't just be an artist. No, I'm only going to play that. Well, okay, it's not like we're asking them to play hip hop.
No. But if you mean you're getting used to do America, you're getting used to do more diverse shows, then I think it would be a disappointment if you go back to the Netherlands and you can only.
Well, you can answer that.
Yeah, that's up to the artist, because some of them.
You have to try.
I think what I've heard from the artist, and I've worked with a lot of them, and they have said it. It's sometimes it's refreshing for them. Yeah. It really is. They come back and they feel a little bit invigorated or inspired, and they come back to like, wow, my mind is so open now. And I think they come back here and maybe they can go, yeah, this is the way it is here, and that's great. But then I get to go over here and just experiment and go left field. And I think that's I think for most artists they're happy with it. So. Thank you.
We all benefit then.
We all benefit then. I mean, diversity is great. I mean, it's nice.
It's a good thing. Anyone else?
I like to eat different kinds of food.
You, please.
Maybe a bit off topic.
Yeah.
But how do you see diversity in hardcore music for the future? Because, well, I haven't been following hardcore music that much
okay.
for the last couple of years, but I haven't seen it changing very much as well.
You mean like hardcore, like gabber music?
Yeah.
I haven't really followed too much hardcore, but I know in the States they like happy hardcore too. They love it. They're
this is kind of existing.
It exists, and I mean, hardcore it used to be big in the States, and it's now a new territory for me again because it's very underground. But there are some artists who are able to break through, and hopefully in 2012 we're going to be experimenting with that. So I don't really have a report on that yet, but we've done, like I said, an Endymion tour, and that went over pretty well, and we've got a lot of positivity from the kids, and we listen to the kids. Yeah. They're the ones that tell us what we should keep doing with that kind of music. So.
Okay, so it's not really the hardcore music that you combine with like dubstep, for example?
No. Hardcore is something, this is hard style, hard dance music is what we're combining. That's what we put on the main stage with trance and electro. They're playing, these artists are playing with Fedde Le Grand, Leo Corson, Tiesto, Dash Berlin, and hardcore music hasn't quite reached that point yet.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Leo, for a very interesting
story.
Thank you again.